Hey everyone, thanks for joining my live stream again. It's been a while since I've done this. I was quite busy recently. I went to Bangkok last week for I think 4 nights and 5 days. And I've been pretty busy with session work and stuff like that, so I haven't really had time to do this recently. And I had some shows. I had a show last night in Tokyo. That was a lot of fun. But yeah, it's been a while, and thank you so much for joining again. Something I don't like about playing guitar in the winter or when it's cold is it just takes so long for the hands to warm up. And I remember when I was younger, I used to walk around without any gloves. So when I would play, it would just be kind of awful for the first 15 or 20 minutes just because my hands are frozen. But it's kind of nice. Maybe it's sort of a handicap that can kind of work in your favor, because it teaches you how to play slow. So I think it's just generally good to know how to play in any given situation. I remember when I was younger, when I first, maybe it was my second or third year playing guitar, I would be really fussy about the kind of guitars that I played, just because I felt like it didn't feel right. And it was really hard for me to adapt to certain guitar shapes and fretboards or strings or whatever. And I remember, my guitar teacher telling me like, yeah, but you gotta like figure it out. And yeah, he's right. You know, it's just good to be able to sort of be able to adapt to any musical situation. I think it's a really good skill. think I just got my guitar to tune. Oh yeah. See, now my hands are starting to warm up, so it's a little bit easier. There we go. Alright, so now let's do what we always do. Let's add some effects. Let's see. Let's try some reverb again. It's always the reverb. It's always the reverb in the beginning. That's cool, but there's a bit of a delay, so let's make it like this. Let's change this a little bit. All right. I haven't played guitar in a while. There's people talk about when you don't play guitar for a while, you feel like you're a lot better than you usually think you are. And I think that makes a lot of sense because you forget where your boundaries are when you play. So when you play it every day, you kind of know what works and what doesn't work. It's like, okay, I can do this technique here, or I can kind of play these chords here or whatever. But after you stop playing for a while, you sort of just listen to what you're playing, or you kind of go places that you usually don't go. So I think it helps a lot. But on the flip side, you know, you might make too many mistakes. Let's change up the effects a little bit. Reverb's nice, but it's kind of good to get out of your comfort zone sometimes. So let's try something different. Let's try this. So this is an effect that's called the King's microphone. I'm gonna find a guitar pick. I think there's one in my pocket. Oh yeah, it's a bunch. Wow, look at that. Let's try this one. Jazz 3. Ooh. And let's change the tuning and drop D. nice effect. So that's basically just taking out all the low end from, basically. I think that's what it's doing. So let's do... Am I using any distortion? Maybe. I don't know. Yeah, there's probably a lot of distortion. I'm using a plugin called King's microphone. I think there's some distortion. Maybe more gain that's causing the distortion. And maybe I'm putting a limiter on the... So I'm running this through Logic and then into the streaming software. So I think there's distortion from the plugin that I'm using, and there's distortion from the signal into the streaming service. That makes sense. So double distortion. Oh, there's no gating on this. Is it gating a little bit? Might sound like that because all the frequencies are sort of taken out. So if I just turn off the plugin, it sounds like this. I think yeah, it's like a vintage. I think it's supposed to emulate sort of really old, early 20th century microphones or something like that. Oh, gotcha. Yeah, no worries. Yeah, I'm not that skilled in sound effects either. Yeah, definitely. Something I've been thinking about recently is going to see your favorite guitar players live. So I saw Guthrie Govan. He's a guitar player. He plays in this band. Well, he does a lot of solo stuff, and he's very famous. And I saw him in the Aristocrats. I think he's in a... I know he's in a band called the Aristocrats. And I saw them, I think 2 years ago when they came to Japan. And I also saw Julian Lodge. He's also one of my favorite guitar players. He's a jazz guitar player. And I think I saw him, I think it was in November or October of last year. And something I really kind of learned about, going to their concerts, is you always see them on YouTube and on, you listen to their music on Apple Music or Spotify or whatever, and you I think you learn a lot more seeing them play live, because it's a very human experience, and you sort of see their tendencies or like imperfections as musicians and as people, and I think that's really interesting. It's like, oh, okay, they do this thing really well and I can emulate that, and it makes a lot more sense when you see them in person. So when I saw Julian Lodge, he was with a trio, and it was really interesting to see them sort of warm up. Maybe their first two songs, they obviously played everything really, really well, but you can kind of tell that they were a little bit, maybe their hands were cold or something, or they sort of just slowly became better and better and better, and seeing things in that way, it sort of opens, it gave me a lot of confidence, I think. It's like, okay, they're human just like me, you know, so these are some things I can emulate from them, and also it's just a really, I don't know what I'm saying. That's the point I was trying to make, is I think seeing the human side of people you really respect sort of really refines your perspective on things. I don't know if anything I said made any sense, but hopefully it did. Alright, let's choose the tuning again. So let's make it lower this time. Let's go down to C. C. So let's try that effect again. Let's do a variation of it. So this is the Queen Elizabeth effect. So let's go to King George V. This is King George V. It sounds very nasally. I'm tired. I feel very tired. Nasally, yeah. I'm always tired. I am always tired. I don't know why. Every time I meet someone, I think I talked about this last time too, and they ask me how I am. I think 25% of the time I tell them I'm tired. I'm always tired. And I sleep a lot. I sleep 9 hours a day. So it's not sleep deprived tired, it's just more like I want to chill tired. So I kind of like talking in this mic too. Something I really like about plugins like this, and I think this is kind of why vinyl records are so popular too, is because they take a lot of those fringe frequencies out. So the really, really high end and the really, really low end frequencies, and it's just so much easier on your ears. So sorry to sound like a boomer, but something I don't like about modern, I guess, mastering or just production in general, and this is obviously a very, very oversimplified take, but well, now there's AI, right? So there's a lot of free mastering services out there that sort of, and mastering is just basically polishing, your song. So maybe if you're editing a photo, for example, putting a frame on it or putting sort of maybe like a mask or a coat on it would sort of equate to mastering in music. And basically it's sort of the professional consensus we have mastering something is to sort of make everything, loud, but like loud in a very balanced way, so it's very impactful on the ears, and it's something that sort of stands out and makes a statement, and which makes sense because I think there are a lot of statistics showing that louder songs get played more dynamic songs get played more, so it's a science that sort of people have adopted and everyone's pretty much using. But for me, I don't like it, and the band I don't know why I'm talking like that. The band I'm still in, the band I played with last night, that the singer, and he's an amazing singer, he was talking about how he doesn't really like, and I kind of agree with this a little bit, there's a lot of remastered takes of a lot of, old songs, and maybe you're listening like John Lennon or Led Zeppelin or the Beatles or something like that, and they have like a remastered 2018 version. So they just remaster it to sort of fit the, I guess, general, so it just fits in with, the playlist, the Spotify playlist, and the radio. It doesn't feel like it's an out of place song when it's played in, in a queue or in a playlist or something like that, or in a mix or whatever. But it's just very exhausting listening to it because there's just so much high-end air frequency, and there's not so much low-end frequency, but just the highs really, and it's just kind of smashing in your face, and that's something that's very hard to listen to. And I think the reason why things like vinyl are sort of taking off, and I think the vinyl stuff taking off is a bit of an overstatement because statistically speaking, it is a very low percentage of music revenue if you equate it, if you compare it to things like streaming. But it's just, you have to mix or master a record to fit vinyl. You can't just mix it the same way you would a CD or an MP3. So it's a much smoother listening experience, I think. Oh, I just realized something I don't like about this plugin. It's very, you can hear the S's a lot, so I'm going to change it. Make it a little more mild. There we go. This one's better. Yeah, let's do this one. This might be the worst, actually. Maybe this one? I'll just turn it off. There we go. It's the neon thing. I forgot how to play it. I used to know how to play it. But anyway, what was I talking about? So yeah, so when I try to mix and master my own music, I really try to make sure all that high-end stuff is not there, because I don't like it. I don't like listening to it. So a lot of my music, if you listen to it in succession, or maybe you're listening to modern pop music and you add my music in the middle, it sounds really off just because there's none of that high-end, or it's not slamming into your face. So, but I like it that way. I think it sounds nice. So yeah, anyway. Yeah, loudness wars. Yeah, that's what it's called. Do you guys want to listen to another effect? This is in C. I learned slapping totally as a flex. I just wanted to. I think I'll never use it in a musical purpose setting. So it's a bit of a mess because I never really played that much, but I learned it. There's that Guthrie Govan. I don't know how to play it anymore, but. And also Aeroplane by Red Hot Chili Peppers. I think it's a. Yeah, sounds kind of very kind of unpolished, but yeah, slapping. I need to practice. That's one thing about being a professional musician, that kind of you just never have any time to practice. Well, you do, but it's just not as much as you did when you were younger. Because I try to have at least 5 practice sessions a month now. Just a month. Every month I want to practice at least 5 times. And by practice, I mean like a 1 hour sort of practice session. And I can only have maybe more than 5 of those every month. And I think skill-wise... But you also... When you're always playing in a musical setting, in a professional musical setting, I mean, you always learn something new. You learn how to be more precise, and you become better at sort of knowing what you want to play, or what you should play, or what's in your head pretty quickly. And you also learn to be musical, which is the most important thing in playing an instrument. You know, playing with other people and things like that, and being more precise with your playing. But what's really helpful about practice, and even if you don't have a great practice routine, it's just sort of staying sharp, you know? So it's just maybe doing the small things really well, you know, and that's what practice is for. And that's why I practice anyway. And if you don't have it, you can be very, very sloppy and very loose and sort of very unreliable musically, I think. To yourself, I mean, just because maybe it's just you want to play something very specific, but you know, maybe your musical muscles aren't really, haven't been, I don't know what the word is, molded into shape by practice. That's not I didn't say that the way I wanted to say it. So, yeah, it's just a good way to stay sharp. Practicing. It's a good way to stay sharp. Let's try another effect. So that was the King's microphone. I'll just turn it on very briefly again. Sounds like this. It's very cool stuff. Oh yeah. Very relaxing to the ear. Anyway, let's change an effect. Let's do another effect now. Another effect. Let's try something new. I always say that, but I always end up playing the same stuff. Let's try a doubler. Doubler. I'm gonna double the... Oh yeah, get all chorusy. Maybe a little bit more progressive. Maybe something like this. Ooh. That's very, Ooh, wow. Maybe lower the effect level a little bit. I don't know if I can do that on here. Let's see. Yeah, I can't. I gotta put it on a bus or something, but I don't want to do all that right now. Going up. Wow. Wow. Kind of freaky. Let's change it. Maybe this? Yeah. That sounds pretty nice. Yeah, I don't know, something like that. So I went to Thailand recently. It's like the third time I said that, fourth time. But I really enjoyed it. A lot of great food, and it was really nice. It made me very interested in Thai culture because I think Bangkok was a very interesting place in a lot of ways. A lot of perverts there, though. A lot of perverts. A lot of let's turn the volume effect off briefly. Thing about being I guess using a lot of effects, and over there you kind of learn like sometimes the best effect, actually most of the time the best effect is not having any effects at all. Just the raw sound of things sound really, really nice. And being able to capture sound in a very specific way with microphone placement and maybe the performance of the instrument or the singer, or I don't know, it could be your field recording, like recording nature or whatever. To me, that sounds way better if you capture that well, rather than just adding, well, you know, adding effects obviously is its own skill. But for me, I just like the natural sound of things. I think it sounds really nice when you get it right. I remember when I was a teenager, people would talk a lot about auto-tune and how that was sort of, it's like, oh, this person uses auto-tune, this person doesn't use auto-tune. And I think now it's just sort of well, it's not really a thing people talk about anymore. And I think it has a lot to do with the fact that people actually understand what autotune does now. And when I talk about autotune, I just mean like pitch correction. It doesn't need to be like T-Pain autotune. Because I think with modern pop music, I don't think you could have a vocal track that doesn't have any sort of pitch correction, because it would just sound really off, I think. I can't really think of any pop artist that doesn't use pitch correction on their voice. I can't think of any. I mean, they all do. It's just because, I mean, if you're recording a track and every single instrument has sort of, they're using synthetic instruments, or they're using, samples under the drums or whatever. It's very consistent acoustically, I think. So the vocals would just sound really off, I think, if it's just all the instrumentation is sort of very, not synthetic, but I mean, tonally speaking, it's very consistent and dynamically consistent too. And then you just have a vocal that's sort of, all over the place. Not all over the place, but maybe it's not compressed that much, or maybe the pitch is off here and there. It would just sound really off it wouldn't sound like a pop song anymore, I think. And pop music has always been the same for, I think, forever. It's always been sort of the same structure, and I mean, it is what it is. Very sloppy today. I think I said the same thing last time. Let's try another effect now. Let's try a different one. Let's see. That's Slap Happy. This is airport announcement. This effect sort of sounds like when you have dreams. It's like that. This sounds like the second or third dream you have in a night. You know, not the first one, not the last one, but the ones in the middle. You know, the ones you kind of. They're not usually the most impactful ones. Sounds like a frog is singing to you while you're sleeping in that second or third dream. I was making eggs this morning, and that hit my head, the back of my head, on the fan, you know, the ceiling fan above the stove. And I had this flashback of this time this guy punched me in the back of the head. I think I was a junior in high school, or maybe a senior. And there was a guy next to me that played like a joke on him or something, and he thought it was me, so he punched me in the head, the back of the head. And yeah, it just sort of reminded me of that time in high school. And I think I sort of look back to, you know, the people you have to deal with when you're in school. And yeah, there's a lot of just awful people that were there. And, you know, it was a very small school that I went to. So mostly everyone was really nice, but there were some people I'm just like, I don't want anything to do with you, you know, and just like, I don't want to be in your world in any way, you know. And I didn't really know how to deal with those people when I was younger. So I just sort of ignored them. And I didn't give them my time of day. But when we actually talked, it wasn't, you know, confrontational or anything. But I also felt very uncomfortable. Like I think I was just scared of them, you know. And I mean, rightfully so. But I remember something that happened to me in elementary school. And like I got in a fight with someone because he played a prank on my friend or something, and I got pretty angry. I think I don't really remember what it was, but it was out of self-defense, and I remember feeling pretty bad about it, you know, because I felt like there were other things I could have done. And I remember someone telling me, an adult telling me, well, you have to deal with those people your whole life, so you kind of have to learn to sort of cheat viewers on. Get out of here! What the hell's wrong? Don't send me that. I don't want to hear about that. Go away. Anyway, so so it made me think, well, you know, I'm in high school and I should sort of learn how to deal with these people, and I'll probably meet these people later on in my life. But the funny thing is I haven't really met those people ever again, you know. And I think when you're older you have, I mean, you know, you have more choice, I guess, but you still have to make money. You have to have a job, and we are, you know, social animals as human beings. So we do have to interact with people and, you know, go to, you know, maybe, you know, hang around places that you necessarily don't want to be in all the time. Just comparing myself now to, you know, high school or middle school and elementary school, it's just, yeah, sometimes I, you know, deal with those people, but I have the option of sort of just not having to deal with them ever again. And even if I did have to deal with them again, it would be sort of in a professional setting. And I think when you're a kid, you have to sort of worry about violence, you know, and you have to worry about you know, things happening to you that if you were an adult you would never think of happening. So yeah, that's something I was thinking about. Just where I am now and the people I sort of associate myself with, and I still am really good friends with all of my friends that I had when I was younger. But it's just the other people, maybe the few people you have to deal with when you're in school, because you have to go to school. And it's not like you can really work towards anything, going to a different school, and you're also a kid, so you sort of have a lot more trust, I think, and or just faith, or the authority of I don't know how to say this without sounding cliched, but anyway. It's tough being a kid. It's not easy. Life really does get easier the older you get. For me, it does anyway, just because you actually know what's going on around you, and at some point, you sort of do begin to understand everything around you to some degree. So it's a lot easier to deal with things. Yeah. I stopped doing New Year's resolutions last year just because I didn't really feel like it was necessary. But one thing I do want to work on this year, well, two things actually. So from a professional standpoint, it's working with more Japanese people, musicians, because I'm in Japan, but a lot of my clients are online and they're overseas. So I want to sort of focus on working with more Japanese clients this year, because I'm usually confined to my house, to my home, working from my home studio. So it would just be better for me to, work with more locals, musicians and stuff. But one other thing is just not to live in fear, because I've lived in a lot of fear my whole life. So I just kind of want to escape that, not escape it, but sort of conquer it. Sort of my mantra this year, I think, like not living in fear. And I think for me, a defense mechanism for me when I was younger, and still now, is I would sort of be like, no, screw this, I'm not gonna do this, and sort of approach something with authority, but deep down you're just doing that because you're scared, and alright, let's do one more effect and let's call it a day. So let's try, this is the airport announcement, so, So if we play a jazz chord progression, let's just do a 2-5-1, super simple. Let's try another one. Last effect for today. Let's do one more. Let's do something similar to this. Let's try brower motion. I really like this one because it just spreads everything out, but it always feels very always sounds very satisfying. So this is... Let's try another one. Let's get a little more crazy. Maybe this one. How about this one? Yeah. I think for the past few months, this has been my favorite chord. 6/9 chord. A little distortion on this effect too. So this is the left hook guitar. Alright, thank you so much everyone. I'm gonna call it a day. So this is a pretty relatively short one compared to the other ones, but it was a lot of fun. And I've been off for, I think this is the first one I've done in maybe 2 weeks. It's a really busy schedule recently, and around this time of the month around this time of the year, I mean, it's usually really busy for me, so apologies for not doing this more often. It's always a lot of fun. And I think we've loosely sort of kept the same format for the past few live streams as well. So if you want me to change it up in any way, I think last time I talked about bringing in electric guitar for the next one. I might do that for the next one. That'll be a lot of fun. And also, I got a really cool preamp recently from this company called Elberg in Denmark. So I might hook it has sort of a long, very short power cable. And I don't know how I'm going to connect it to the setup I have here, because what I'm doing is I'm just moving some small parts over next to the sofa. My working desk is right there. You can't see it. It's off the screen. But it sounds really cool. It sounds very silver. The sound. It sounds very silver, and sounds very rich, but it's sort of like in a metallic way, which is kind of cool. I recorded vocals on it for a client recently, and it sounded really nice. I'm like, wow, this is really cool. It sounds very clear, and a lot of power on it too, which is nice. Anyway, I just want to say thank you, as always, for watching. It really means a lot, you know. And I remember when I started doing these live streams, I really didn't have any sort of expectations. And I don't have any expectations now, but it's been a lot more fun than I thought it would be, and I really appreciate you guys joining and, you know, chatting, and it means a lot to me. So hopefully I'll get to see you soon. I didn't promote this one at all. I didn't promote this live stream at all. I just sort of put a YouTube preview thing that I was going to do it maybe 2 weeks ago or a week and a half ago, and I posted it on Twitter 15 minutes before I started, but that's about it. So if you're watching this later, I'll promote it more. I'll promote the next ones more. It's just been really hectic for me, so not a lot of time to do stuff, but you know, nevertheless, it's always fun with you guys. And yeah, just message me if you have any questions or suggestions, and I'll be happy to respond and talk to you. It's always a lot of fun, and you guys are always really great. So, and any suggestions, any criticisms, whatever, yeah, keep in touch. So, thank you as always. It really means a lot. And if you've watched the live stream before, I always start at the same time, so it's around evening. It's 3 o'clock in the afternoon, actually. It's not the evening yet. So I have some work I need to finish, so I'll do that. Some mixing for some vocal tracks. But wherever you are, if it's night for you, if it's morning, I hope you have a really good one. And yeah, I want to see you again, so I hope I do. And yeah, till next time. Alright, bye-bye.